Hello. It's happy Monday, President's Day, February 17th. Shout out to my pops. It's his birthday here today. 70 years old. Woo! Celebrating. A lot to celebrate today. Good weather. Got all the windows open here in Central Florida. Just can't complain. It's just been great. So let's talk about SMCI. Oh, yeah, we had that coverage on February 11th on earnings. We talked about all the good, juicy things. The market kind of like said, okay, we like it, but they didn't like it. And then the very next day or two, here comes Friday. Boom. All of a sudden, all of the headlines you see talking about SMCI and the things from the call, the market's all of a sudden excited to hear about that their forward guide, how DeepSeek isn't an issue. All the things that we already heard on the call, it seems like they were just asleep and then they just woke up. But anywho, we got in, we were here, we traded, we told you about it. $38, $40 is when we, just started talking about it, getting our feet wet. And here we are ending the week, $46 after market. Already has beat my short-term target of $45. And I was saying on the 11th that we can see $50 once they actually post their 10K, make it official. But the market likes to get ahead of itself. But let's dive deep. Let's look under the hood and see, is this move a little getting ahead of itself? Without any of the official data still yet to be submitted, or is the market just absolutely convinced that it will happen and they're going to start pricing that in? So traders beware, as the price gets ahead of itself without the 10K filing, you do not want to be caught in holding the bag should any bad headline come through about either needing additional more time or whatever the case. This is going to be a very headline sensitive stock here until that 10K is posted. Now, let's just pay attention to the price action. Let's just look and be conscious of what those levels are so that we don't get overly excited and start buying at highs like with the rest of the retail that are just getting wind of all of this good juicy things that we already figured out. And then what we're also going to do is today is just take a look at who are actually SMCI's competitors. How do they stack up with SMCI? How does it measure up with the new Trump era, with America first and all the tariffs and everything coming from China? Like, how does that all fit in with SMCI? So let's take a quick look at those components, and just taking a high level look at where they are. If you were going to put your money into any of these AI big data center uh, entities, which one would you see based on all of the facts, has the most potential to go up, has the most upside from here till say the next, the end of this year going into next year. So let's take a look. One thing I wanted to point out here. So let's take a look at, I went to Seeking Alpha and I plotted SMCI against all of its real competitors in the AI data center space. So let's review. Um, Here's SMCI way down here. This is just looking at a 1 year stock price movement, okay? Relative to its, gains for 1 year relative to its competitors. SMCI has just been beaten down, and those that don't know, you can go back and check, but there has just over the last year just been a parade of it's just been beat down because there was at one point suspect that their numbers were even legit, that there was some fraud going on. One of the CPAs they had quit, another bad sign. And then quickly another one had to come in, play, and they're giving us all these assurances now that things are good. So all things aside, that seems like it was just a lot of noise last year. And what we're having and what we're seeing is one of these anomalies you see. And sometimes you get these opportunities and you look back a year, 2, 3 from now, wow, I really wish I would have taken advantage of that manipulation that happened and that weakness. And I wish I would have had more confidence in the company to know that they were sound, so that I could have just put more money in and then allow that money to grow. So this is your chance, right? This is your opportunity to like make those decisions and look at the data and see, okay, is this really the underdog that's going to be the next knight in shining armor? You know, are there partnerships, sound and with Nvidia? Are those shipments coming through like they're going to promise to come? You know, and can we get through the noise of their existing 2025 fiscal year lowered guide, and then believe that that 2026 guide is going to be 40 billion dollars? What investors are going to be questioning from here until probably their next earnings is, how are they going to accomplish that? Where are those sales coming from, and why is there such a gap and shortfall? And then all of a sudden, like, there's obviously a big forecast that they're not revealing, um which is interesting. Obviously they're not going to tell us the details, but that is good news and good hope. And investors are forward looking. Investors always just want to know that there's something good coming up in the horizon. And the only downfall coming up, the only headwind for us investors, is just any negative press, any negative headlines to go against any of those promises. The minute we see those on break on headlines, you can see a 10-20% drop in the stock price just to the sheer volatility that we've seen over the past year. All right, so so relative to its competitors, HP, Hewlett Packard, we got IBM, Dell, Broadcom, Lenovo, and I put all those. These are really just the only ones that are in that AI data center space now. As you know, with the project, I believe Stargate, they're calling it here, with Oracle involved and the government involved, they're throwing a lot of, I think, $1 trillion in data center in the ecosystem here in the United States to build out here in the next couple of years. So SMCI, being a US based company, is just poised to benefit from all of these movements in AI and movements with funding, the government. And just, at the end of the day, if they're coming in saying, look, all of our data for last year, it was sound, we just had an issue with putting it together or whatnot, we're not getting delisted. In fact, we're doubling in size. Once the market starts to really catch up on that, as we started to see like 2 or 3 days after earnings, um, that can build and continue into the next couple of weeks, months, and even year, as long as they continue to fulfill all of the promises that they're coming out to be, that they're coming out with on the headlines. so so look at this quick: negative 45% for 1 year. We've got even their nearest competitor, Fuji, what is that? Fujifilm? Oh, I'm sorry, I've never seen that company. At basically flat. You got HP, Dell, IBM, and Broadcom just blowing it out for the last year. Well over 17%. So there is so much more room for the upside. We have this stock, basically at $48, about to break that key $50 to $51 level. And when it breaks out of that, it's just, 60s are right around the corner. There was a big gap down prior into the years when that needs to be, chewed right up. And I think they're getting ready to do just that. My fear is that for the short term, some investors may get caught. And let's go through the stock prices real quick on there. That was Friday's close. Pretty mixed bag, pretty healthy for, considering today is a closed day for the market. Let's take a look at SMCI. So here we have the 4-hour chart. All right. I got the Fibonacci's up. I live and breathe by these when making key decisions, folks. looking at key levels. These are very important to observe and respect. And they have saved me so many times in my trading career. So here we have rejection, 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 rejection from the low, from its low in the teens. All right. So that's where we started the fibs. All right. All the way to its high. And so here's where we're at. That high being just about $50. We could argue that up here with these prior rejections, if you want to be conservative, you're really looking at a 5150 breakout, and this thing is going to move dollars at a time to the north side. So now here's where we are at, ladies and gentlemen. We have the Fibonacci retracement. All right. We have the golden zone that was bought up, traded violently, and right here on Thursday around, what do we have? Basically the morning, we had that initial down pull and just a nonstop purchasing. We have a lot of volume to confirm the move up. And they say 2 to 3 days after earnings is where the real move is at, where the investors get a chance to digest the information. And it's clear that I don't think a lot of big brokers or institutions were ready or having cash readily available for SMCI earnings, and they really wanted to see how the market reacted. And I think once they saw that it was favorable and there was a lot of support here on Thursday, what we saw on Friday was an absolute nonstop. There was just no red candle on Friday. Market opened, it broke out of that 43 level, 44, really 44.50. And once that happened, it just did not look back. It just made higher highs. And we are now at that key level, right at the top of that Fibonacci level. Not only are we at the top of the fibs, we are also happen to be crossing into some long-term resistance from prior time. So it's going to come down to, you want to short, you have an opportunity to basically take a new short position and have, say, 5250 as your stop loss, right? The higher you get to that level, the with 5250 as a stop loss, you're minimizing your risk and just having a guaranteed stop loss at that level. And you basically could, if there was going to be a retracement, you can basically have a whole $10 back down to that golden zone at right around $42. So a whole $10 move from $52 to $42 on a short would be delicious, right? So something to keep in mind. Also on the bull side, for those that are long, and I'm long-term long for sure, this is just a bottom line key level that has to break out. There's no emotion. There's no, oh, it didn't do it. Oh, well, look, what are the facts that we have? We only have the information from the call. They have yet, to submit their 10K officially. The audit, still has to come through. There has to be how much was there any variance with what they had claimed? Is it to the plus side? Is it to the negative side? Is it just as expected? There's just a few more question marks still out there. So let's not get the hype overextended. Let's take a look at that volume, how the market reacts tomorrow, and take a look at these small levels here, because we're really close to that breakout level. And I'm excited because I'm ready with shares to take if that 5150 level starts to break out, with volume. So I'm excited. I'm really happy with the way that it respected a lot of the Fibonacci levels. That golden zone really played out to be, support at one point, and then just resistance. It just rejected until it just finally broke out. And then not only broke out, but now like way over exuded itself without even giving a chance to pull back to the top of that golden zone. So This is where I say, hey, nothing goes up in a straight line. All we had was green candles up until Friday. We still have a lot more time left in the month. Let's take a look at what this week goes by and potentially take a short term, just to take, collect a little bit of cash um, while we wait for SMCI. But honestly, I'm not one to just like take shorts like that unless it's for like a 1 minute trade, because it's with it when something's you don't go, I don't go against the trend or don't stay against the trend for too long, because I've gotten rug pulled so many times. So again, folks, key levels to look for: SMCI. Everybody, good luck this week. Throw some questions in the chat, like and subscribe. I'm really excited to get this new YouTube channel out, get some live streams going, get some live trades going. This is going to evolve into some more trades. Gonna really get into some futures, because I'm just looking at days like today where the market is closed but futures are open, and hey, that's something to look into. I hear a lot of great success on some of my friends trading futures and forex, and that's something I'm going to get into in more of a prop trading, to get my feet wet and stick to what I know best is just my key momentum players here. A couple of small cap gappers that I am following in the quantum world that have really paid off good. And you got to just catch those things when the momentum is there and when that hype is there, and then know when to release the brakes or when to pump the brakes and take profits. We're going to talk a lot more about that, about the discipline, and really, when you're a retail trader, you have under $25,000. What do you do with your 3-day trades that you can make in a week period? When do you do them? How do you do them? What is the vehicle that you use to make those trades? What's the best day of the week to make those trades? And what time of the day is that happening? Is that going to interfere with my daytime job? These are a lot of things you got to ask yourself. If you're not ready to commit to the days, times of the weeks, and time to learn into just some basic stuff, you're really just, as they say, gambling and just throwing money into something, just hoping that's just you could just go get a lotto ticket, if that's the case. But please do some homework, understand where you're putting your money into, and just know where that next opportunity may be laying. So anywho, my next video is going to be we're going to dive a little bit deeper on Tesla and where they are at. And so take a break, and I'm going to take a break here soon, and we're going to go into that. So ladies and gentlemen, like and subscribe. Thank you again. I appreciate you very much. Peace.